Bob Blackman.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I draw the House's attention to my entry in the Register of Members' Interests. Before we approach the position of reforming the planning system in this country, I think it's vital that we actually get the homes built that planning applications are still outstanding for. The reality is we have more than 1 million homes that still remain unbuilt but have planning permission. And my suggestion to the Secretary of State, I think he knows this, is that after all planning conditions are discharged, developers should be given 18 months to start on site. If they don't start on site, then they should lose their planning permission. If they haven't built the homes after 3 years, then they should be charged full council tax on every single one of the dwellings that they've failed to build. I hope that the Secretary of State will consider the planning bill to be a work in progress and allow members across the House to input to the planning bill so we can actually get it right once and for all, particularly if he will enable the HCLG Select Committee to do pre-legislative scrutiny. I think that will improve the bill no end. I have no objection where a local authority has set out a planning brief for a site that then invites developers to come in and build exactly as the local authority is determined, for that not to need planning permission. But I think every other planning application and every other proposal to build should be subject to local democratic control. On social housing, we need to be more ambitious. We need to be building between 90 and 100,000 units a year. That will mean that there'd be rents that people could afford rather than subsidising through the use of housing benefits. We should also, within that, transform the position whereby tenants moving in would have a guaranteed price that they could exercise the right to buy when their circumstances allow. And then all the receipts should be invested in new social housing. I think that's an area that we can all improve on. The government has been brilliant on everyone in, and indeed we need to now roll out housing first right across the country. And I hope that we can make sure that we provide the homes that people need so that they are not forced to sleep rough on the streets because of the circumstances. On the building safety bill, that is clearly welcome. As the chairman of the Select Committee stated, we did the pre-legislative scrutiny. We're still waiting for the government to respond to that. If the government accepts all the recommendations made by the Select Committee, then I think that will smooth the process of the building safety bill, and we'll all have a bill that people will be proud of. Because the reality is that we need to protect leaseholders from the unscrupulous behaviours of developers. Under the leasehold reform bill, that will take things forward from now onwards, but we have to combat people like Bellways who sell the freeholds from under the noses of the leaseholders without even informing them to finance companies that exploit them to no end. I was disappointed that we didn't hear in the gracious speech the repeal of the Vagrancy Act. I will echo once again my view that we need to make sure that people who are homeless are assisted but not arrested. And equally, in terms of health, I think it's time we had a tobacco manufacturers 2030 fund, which can be a levy on the producers of tobacco, so we can invest in encouraging people to give up smoking for the good of their own health. Unfortunately, that wasn't mentioned. I hope that we can see a commitment from the Health Secretary tomorrow. Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker.